Welcome back to Old Charles, the channel where we explore the world of coins, history, and hidden treasures in your pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into the story of the Australian 50-cent coin from 1981. If you have one of these coins lying around, you may be wondering, is it just worth 50 cents, or could it be worth much more to collectors? Let's find out. The 50-cent coin is one of the most recognizable coins in Australia today, but it has quite an interesting past. The very first 50-cent coin was introduced in 1966, during Australia's transition to decimal currency. That first issue was made of 80% silver, and because of the rising value of silver, the government quickly stopped minting them after just 1 year. In 1969, the 12-sided copper-nickel 50-cent coin was introduced, the design we still use today. It's large, easily recognizable, and became a staple in everyday Australian transactions. Why 1981? The coin was well established. That year, over 20 million 50-cent coins were minted, and they carried the same coat of arms design by Stuart Devlin, showing the kangaroo and emu supporting the Australian shield. Now, here's where it gets interesting. In 1981, because of a high demand for 50-cent coins, production was spread across 3 different mints: the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, the Royal Mint in London, and the Royal Canadian Mint in Ottawa. This makes the 1981 50-cent coin special because not all coins were produced locally. Some subtle variations in strike and detail exist depending on the mint of origin, and collectors often look for these differences. So, what's the actual value of the 1981 Australian 50-cent coin today in circulated condition ***? Most coins are still only worth around face value, 50 cents, since millions were made and they're still relatively common. In uncirculated or mint condition ***, the value rises. A brilliant uncirculated coin can fetch between $3 to $6 AUD, depending on demand and quality. Proof sets and collector packaging *** from 1981 can be worth much more, sometimes reaching $15 to $30 AUD if preserved well. Rare varieties from the Canadian or London minting may attract higher collector interest, sometimes selling for $10 to $20 AUD if in pristine shape. Like all collectible coins, condition is everything when it comes to value. Collectors use a grading system to assess coins: heavily circulated, scratches, dull surface, usually only worth face value. Light wear, details still visible, worth a little above face value. No wear, bright luster, looks like it just left the mint. This is where collectors will pay the premium. If you think you have a mint-quality 1981 50-cent coin, it might be worth putting it in a protective holder and having it graded to confirm its value. Even though the 1981 50-cent coin isn't considered rare, it still holds strong appeal for collectors because of its history and international minting. It's a fascinating piece for anyone building a collection of Australian decimal coins. Plus, given that these coins are large and heavy compared to modern change, they remain a nostalgic reminder of Australia's currency history. So there you have it, the story of the 1981 Australian 50-cent coin. While most examples are still only worth their face value, uncirculated coins, proof issues, and coins from international mints can be worth several dollars to collectors. We're uncovering the fascinating story of the Australian 50-cent coin from 1981. Many people think it's just a regular coin you see in change, but it carries with it a long history, international minting, and collector interest. Let's take a journey through its past, and then look at its current value and condition. To understand the 1981 issue, we need to go back to the very beginning of Australia's decimal currency system. On February 14, 1966, Australia officially abandoned the old pound, shillings, and pence system and introduced the Australian dollar and cent system. This was one of the biggest financial changes in the nation's history. The new coins included 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, and 50 cents, along with new banknotes. The 50-cent coin was designed to be the highest value coin in circulation, replacing the old florin, which was worth 2 shillings. The very first 50-cent coin released in 1966 was round in shape and contained 80% silver, weighing 13.28 grams. At the time, its silver content was worth very close to its face value. But soon after, the price of silver began to rise sharply, making the metal in the coin more valuable than the coin's spending power. As a result, the silver round 50 cent was withdrawn from circulation after just 1 year, making it one of the most iconic and sought-after Australian decimal coins today. After the silver coin was scrapped, the government reintroduced the 50-cent coin in 1969, this time in a 12-sided design made of copper-nickel alloy. This gave the coin its distinctive shape, making it easier to identify and preventing confusion with the 20-cent coin. The design was created by Stuart Devlin, the same designer behind many Australian decimal coins. On the reverse side, it features the Australian coat of arms, with a kangaroo and emu supporting the shield that represents the 6 states of Australia. This design has remained unchanged ever since, making it one of the longest-lasting designs in Australian coinage history. Fast forward to 1981, and the 50-cent coin was firmly established in circulation. But that year, something unique happened. The demand for 50-cent coins in Australia skyrocketed, and the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra couldn't keep up with production alone. To solve this, the government turned to international mints for help. In addition to the coins struck in Canberra, the Royal Mint in London and the Royal Canadian Mint in Ottawa were commissioned to produce millions of coins for Australia. This means that the 1981 Australian 50-cent coin wasn't only made in Australia, but also overseas. It's one of the few times in history where Australian currency had to be minted internationally to meet demand. For collectors, this makes the 1981 issue historically significant. Some coins from the Canadian or London Mint show slight differences in quality and finish compared to those struck in Australia, making them interesting to study. Now that we've covered the history, let's talk about value. Most 1981 coins you find in your pocket change are worth 50 cents only, since over 20 million were minted and they're not considered rare. Coins that have never been used, kept in pristine condition, can fetch between $3 to $6 AUD. These specially packaged 1981 coins, never touched by circulation, can sell from $15 to $30 AUD, sometimes higher if certified by a grading service. Some collectors pay more for coins struck at the Canadian Mint or London Mint, with values ranging from $10 to $20 AUD depending on quality. Condition is everything when it comes to coin value. Heavily circulated, scratches, dull finish, worth face value. Clear details, light wear, worth slightly above face value. Full shine, no scratches, sharp edges. These are the coins collectors want, and they can bring the best prices. The 1981 Australian 50-cent coin may not be rare in circulation, but it's a favorite among collectors because of its international minting story. Not many Australian coins were made overseas, so this one holds a unique spot in decimal history. Also, the 50-cent coin itself is one of the largest coins in Australian currency, weighing 15.55 grams, with its iconic 12-sided shape. It's instantly recognizable and has become a symbol of Australian coinage worldwide. So there you have it, the 1981 Australian 50-cent coin. Its long history stretches back to the very birth of Australia's decimal system, through the silver experiment of 1966 to the massive international minting effort of 1981. While most are worth face value today, uncirculated examples, proof issues, and certain varieties are worth much more to collectors. If you have one of these in your collection, hold on to it. It's not just 50 cents, it's a piece of history. We're exploring the 1981 Australian 50-cent coin. We'll uncover its fascinating history, learn about its value, and most importantly, we'll take a deep look at how coin condition plays the biggest role in determining whether your coin is just worth 50 cents or several dollars. Let's begin. When it comes to coins, condition is everything. Two coins from the exact same year, with the same design, can have very different values depending on their state of preservation. Collectors use a grading scale to judge condition, and the better the grade, the higher the value. Let's break this down in detail. Most 1981 Australian 50-cent coins you'll find today have been circulating for over 40 years. That means they've passed through thousands of hands, sat in purses, been dropped, scraped, and scratched. The coin is heavily worn, possibly with parts of the design flattened or nearly gone. The coat of arms might look smooth, and the Queen's portrait may be faint. These coins are usually only worth their face value. You can still see the design, but there's major wear. The fine details on the kangaroo, emu, and shield are faded. Collectors rarely seek out these coins, except as fillers for a set. A coin in fine or very fine condition has seen circulation but still retains strong details. On a 1981 50-cent coin, the Queen's portrait will show clear outlines, but the hair and crown may lack detail. On the coat of arms, the shield designs are visible, but some small features are worn down. The coin will show scratches and loss of original shine. These coins are slightly more collectible but still usually close to face value. An extremely fine coin is much better. It has only light wear, usually on the highest points of the design. For the 1981 50-cent coin, The Queen's hair strands are still mostly visible, with only a little flattening at the top. The emu and kangaroo will have visible feather and fur details. The coin might have some small marks but will still look sharp and attractive. Coins in this condition can be worth a little more than face value, especially if they're from the Canadian or London Mint. An uncirculated coin has never been used in everyday transactions. It still has its full original mint luster, looking almost brand new. For a 1981 50-cent uncirculated coin, the Queen's portrait is sharp, with all hair details visible. The coat of arms is crisp, with fine lines in the shield and textures on the kangaroo and emu. The fields, the flat areas of the coin, are smooth and shiny, without scratches. These coins can sell from $3 to $6 AUD, depending on demand. Collectors often use the Sheldon grading scale, which ranges from MS60 to MS70, to describe uncirculated coins. Uncirculated but with noticeable marks from handling at the mint. Sharper strike, good luster, only minor flaws. High quality, nearly flawless, very rare for a circulated coinage year like 1981. Practically perfect. These are almost never seen outside of proof sets, specially made for collectors in 1981, are in another category altogether. They were struck using polished dies on special planchets, giving them mirror-like backgrounds and frosted designs. A 1981 proof 50-cent coin, if kept sealed, can easily sell for $20, $30 AUD or more. And if you have a 1981 Australian 50-cent coin in good condition, don't just throw it into a coin jar. Protect it. Use a 2x2 cardboard flip or a plastic coin capsule to prevent scratches. Avoid cleaning coins. Cleaning actually reduces their value because it leaves unnatural marks. Store in a dry, cool place to avoid tarnishing and environmental damage. Collectors pay the most for coins that look untouched by time, so preservation is key. So now you know. While the 1981 Australian 50-cent coin is common in circulation, condition makes all the difference. A scratched-up coin is just worth 50 cents, but a mint state or proof coin could be worth many times more. Check your collection carefully, because even small details and condition can make a big impact on value. Thanks for watching Old Charles. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coin guides. And tell us in the comments, what's the best condition 1981 50-cent coin you found?